And now the attention turns to potential flooding. Also, severe hail, how you can prepare when damaging hail is in the forecast for your community.
Maybe a guarantee that you're going to see it at some point during the severe weather season.
Spring smells. Some are sweet, while others are real stinkers.
That smell may have something to do with the weather.
Wildfire season is just around the corner. What you can do now to prepare.
The more they can do now to prepare their home, the better chance they have in the long run.
Plus, a closer look at NOAA's new heat risk tool designed to keep you safe during sizzling summer months.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. At least 7 tornadoes were reported in the Texas Panhandle Wednesday. This one, touching down at 4 p.m. local time, was on the ground for 20 minutes. Another tornado hit about 90 miles from the Oklahoma border. Local fire department reports minor damage, no injuries. In central Texas, the story was rain and lots of it. More than 2 inches in Austin at least in the last 24 hours. That led to minor flooding across the region. The roads were closed, but many have now since reopened. Storm system that brought all that rain has now moved off toward the east. The National Weather Service has issued flood watches and even a few flash flood warnings. They stretch from just south of Dallas to Louisiana. The Storm Prediction Center posted a slight risk for severe storms today in North Texas, including Fort Worth and Abilene. The good news, after today, the risk for severe weather remains limited until early next week. Despite yesterday's rainfall, one town near Austin is already initiating water conservation efforts. The rules for now limit how many days residents can water outdoors. But will it be enough? Monique Lopez has more.
It's the first of the month, and May is already living up to its reputation of being one of the wettest months of the year in central Texas. Despite that, the city of Hutto is entering stage 1 of water conservation. It's not mandatory for residents, but is encouraged and geared toward education and preparation for stage 2.
With stage 1, it's more just remind everybody to conserve water, what your days would be, when we get to stage 2, how you're going to water, and when you can use your sprinkler system, when you can't, things like that.
The Highland Lakes are an essential source for the city of Austin, and while the downpour is welcomed, whether it will help refill the lakes depends on where the rain falls.
The watershed that feeds our lakes is north and west of Austin. And so it's nice when we get rain in the Austin area, but we really need to have it out west and north of Austin.
Hoffman says meteorologists say we might see the return of La Nina in the fall, but what that means is that we're likely in store for another hot, dry summer ahead.
We'll have to continue to rely upon our lakes that are already stressed quite a bit.
Last year, Hutto went into stage 2 in July. The city is hoping this rainfall will help push that out at least by another month.
Tornadoes are not the only risk when it comes to severe weather. Many areas this week saw dangerous hail, some to the size of baseballs. How can you be ready if hail is in the forecast for your area? Karina Hollingsworth spoke with an expert to find out.
If you're caught in a hailstorm, you should seek shelter, either within a dwelling, a home, some residence, or within your car if possible, preferably in a home. But if all you have is a vehicle to get to, it's important to again, put some material between you and the elements.
While many find hailstorms exciting and often pull out their phones to capture videos of the acts of nature, Vincent Cantu says it's best to record videos after the storm passes.
And I get it, right? A lot of folks, you want to see these phenomenon. They're exciting, but at the same time, we need to remember that there's inherent danger involved to these hailstorms and tornadic events. They're life-threatening. Tornadoes can spin up to 200 miles per hour or greater, and these and we've seen it here before with hailstones going up to at least grapefruit size.
And if you're caught driving in the middle of a hailstorm, Cantu says it's important to not panic.
So, if possible, get over the side of the road. I would definitely prefer that folks be able to get to a shelter, if at all possible. That's your best bet.
According to Cantu, hail is always a possibility with severe storms like thunderstorms and tornadoes.
It varies in size. We always see that maybe it's going to be pea size, but the more notable size hail, you're going to see it out here. It's almost maybe a guarantee that you're going to see it at some point during the severe weather season.
When thunderstorms strike, the safest place to be is indoors. But how safe is it to take a shower or a bath when severe weather passes overhead? Meteorologist Irina Plunkett explains.
Last week in Reno, we had our fair share of thunderstorms, sparking the question, is it safe to shower during a storm? You see, every time you touch the tap, water travels through metal fixtures. When lightning strikes, the electrical current follows the path of least resistance. The current will always jump to a better conductor, whether it's through water or through your pipes. Add on the fact that you're likely in your birthday suit and you could be in for a shock in the shower. The risk is minute, though. According to the National Weather Service, a person has about a 1 in 15,000 chance of getting struck by lightning in their lifetime. And nowadays, most modern houses use PVC pipes, which are a poor conductor of electricity. But with little idea where the plastic meets up with metal fixtures, why even chance it? So if thunder strikes, skip the shower.
Something springtime is known for its sweet smells, but also some stinky scents. Meteorologist Paul Poteet explains.
Yeah, the sign says no parking, but it doesn't say no smelling. Smells delightful. Something's blooming. It's typical in the spring and the summertime in many parts of the country that the air is warmer. It can hold more moisture. That moisture can lead to the formation of mold, mildew, bacteria. So it's not always the good smells that you smell. This is the time of year maybe when you start noticing mildew in your house, especially a musty smell in your basement. So check the temperature, check the dew point. That smell may have something to do with the weather. Hope this doesn't trigger an allergy thing.
Pool season is already here for some, while others have to wait a little bit longer. Either way, it's important to make sure when the summer sun sizzles, it leaves your skin out of it. Meteorologist David Glenn has more.
Well, let's talk about sunscreen to begin with, because definitely you want to put this on before you go outside and enjoy your pool day. And if you have any sunscreen from last season, well, make sure it hasn't expired. But also the other number to look for is the SPF factor. Make sure it's broad spectrum UVA, UVB protection, and it's at least SPF 30 or higher. The higher the number, the better the protection. Now again, many of these sunscreens are waterproof and sweat-proof, but they don't last all day. So if you've been out in the water or sweating, you definitely want to reapply it for about an hour and a half. And also, sunscreen does have its limits. Again, it just kind of filters the sun. You need to take some time away from the sun. Shield yourself from it. A poolside umbrella is a great way to do that. But if you're going to be in the water with your head exposed at all times, consider a baseball cap. It could do a great way of shielding your nose and your face from the sun, but also a wider rim hat is a better protection method, thereby protecting both the front of your face, but also parts of your shoulders and definitely your neck. Now, aside from that type of shade, let's talk about these types of shades. You need to protect your eyes at all times. Keep in mind the most important thing is making sure that it has UVA and UVB protection. Oftentimes in the lenses or the stem, it'll say UVA, UVB, or UV400. And make sure you have these on basically at all times, limiting the exposure to the sun.
All right, now let's check out the weather across cities across the country today. We start on the Atlantic coast. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Planned for a very nice afternoon with plenty of sun and highs near 80 degrees. If you're thinking of going for a swim, right now the ocean water temperature is only at 53, so you may want to hold off. Next, the gateway to the west, St. Louis, mostly sunny this afternoon with storms on the way later this evening. Some may be strong to severe with gusty winds and heavy downpours. Planned for highs in the mid-80s. Moving west, we stopped in Phoenix, Arizona. Mostly sunny today, a dry heat with highs in the lower 90s. And our final step over to the Pacific Northwest and Seattle. It's going to be a great weather day with lots of sunshine and temperatures in the middle 60s. Renewed eruptions from a remote Indonesian volcano have triggered fresh evacuation orders and flight cancellations. Lava and volcanic gases spewing out of the fiery mountain. A major reason for the evacuations, fears the volcano could partially collapse. We're back after this.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. Most of the Northeast is going to be on the warm side today. We have some 70s and even low 80s making an appearance through parts of southern New York and New Jersey. Now, the exception, parts of northern New England, there'll be clouds and there'll be some showers moving through the area. Notice where we have the brightest skies, we're going to have our warmest temperatures during the afternoon. Now, as we go into the day on Friday's one of those days where it's another big range in temperatures. Clouds are going to be stubborn for parts of New England. Showers move into western New York late in the day.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. Thursday's looking nice and dry as we head through the afternoon. It'll still be pretty hot, though. Next chance for any measurable rainfall looks to arrive later this weekend. A few showers possible late Friday, but better rain chances coming on Saturday and Sunday. Going to be hotter for Thursday. High temperature in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees, but a front is going to pass through, knocking our temperatures back pretty significantly. Highs on Friday should only reach the mid-70s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your forecast highs for the day. Looks like 88 degrees in Nashville, 84 Mobile, 89 in Macon, 81 in Charleston, about 90 in Tampa, 85 West Palm. Looking at a lot of sunshine across parts of the southeast through the Carolinas, Virginia, back towards Mississippi and Alabama. A little more cloud cover as we see some strong storms pushing through eastern Texas. Frontal boundary through the midsection of the country will push over the Mississippi River Valley as we go into Thursday afternoon, evening, and expect rain towards the weekend.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
We have been talking all week about tornadoes and showing you just how destructive they can be. El Paso meteorologist Evan O'Regan helps us better understand how tornadoes form.
Surface winds come out of the south. Generally, this transports moisture in from sources south of our area, or south of the United States. This typically comes from the Gulf of Mexico. Up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, there are stronger winds there, so that will create a rotating column of air, also known as wind shear, when the wind changes speed as we progress higher into the atmosphere. We also have thunderstorm updrafts. That brings up that warm, moist air from the surface and condenses that into clouds. That's where we usually get thunderstorms. As the updraft goes further up into the atmosphere, it brings up that rotating column of air into the upper levels of the atmosphere. Generally, those winds at the upper levels of the atmosphere are also coming at a different direction, so that'll put that rotating column on its side, and what goes up with that updraft must come down, usually in the way of a wall cloud during severe season. And if that the wall cloud continues to build down and reach the ground, it becomes a tornado. If that funnel does reach the ground, it is a tornado. If not, it is just a funnel cloud.
NOAA has released a new tool to help better prepare for hot weather that may impact health. Meteorologist Jeff Exline spoke with an official at the National Weather Service to learn more.
And joining me from the National Weather Service in Pittsburgh is meteorologist Fred McMullen. And Fred, can you explain a little bit about how this tool works?
Yes, this is a new tool that's rolled out nationally, and it's a really cutting-edge tool because it's a partnership with the Center for Disease Control, and we use heat-related mortality information along with climatological records from across the country to formulate a national threat level scale that's scalable to the entire United States.
And it's not going to take away any of the products from the National Weather Service, like your heat advisories or excessive heat warnings. It's just a tool, I guess?
Yeah, so our heat advisories remain the same. So temperatures between 100 to 104 degrees for the Ohio Valley would warrant a heat advisory, and then heat indexes greater than 105 go into a extreme heat warning. And so when we use this tool, this is going to be very beneficial for us, like in the early months, like May, late April right now, because it's going to be in the mid to upper 80s across the Ohio Valley, and then also in September in the fall. So when we get these early season and late season heat episodes, to make sure people are aware they need to take it easy when they're outdoors working.
As temperatures warm, wildfire risk goes up. The season is right around the corner. Brianna Henderson has more on what you can do to make sure your home is prepared for the season.
The first Saturday in May is Wildfire Preparedness Day. It's a great day to get out and do some small work in the home ignition zone around your home. We like to have folks working on preparedness throughout the year, so it's not only during the summer.
Blakely says that homeowners are one of the most important parts of helping prevent the spread of wildfires.
The more they can do now to prepare their home, the better chance they have in the long run of giving their home a chance.
Some factors that protect your home include cleaning debris from your gutter, removing fallen leaves and dry vegetation, and storing propane tanks at least 30 feet from structures.
Check out this gorgeous red sunrise. It reminded Maine meteorologist Christian Bridges of the saying, red sky at night, sailors delight, red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. Here he is to explain.
Here's a view of that incredible red sunrise that we got on the last day of April here in Maine. You can see the sunlight shining, giving us that beautiful red glow in the sky. Here's another beautiful view of that. You can see that the sunlight is shining underneath the clouds, illuminating them and giving them that red glow. But why is that bad news for sailors? Well, here in the United States, pretty much all weather systems go from west to east across the country. And conversely, the sun, of course, always rises in the east and sets in the west. So when we've got a storm system approaching from the west, like we saw on Tuesday morning here in Maine, and the sun rising in the east, the sun shines underneath the clouds through a little gap, giving them that glow. So sailors knew when the sky glowed red in the morning, it usually meant a storm system was approaching, therefore rough weather. Conversely, in the evening, when sailors had a beautiful red sunset, they knew that the storm was usually moving away. The sun in the west shining on the departing clouds in the east. So that's why sailors have always known to take warning when the sky turns red in the morning.
Wisconsin's 2024 inland fishing season is quickly approaching. However, the state saw a relatively mild winter, and that has many concerned about local fish population. Eric Peterson has more.
With ice leaving Shawano Lake on February 28th, officials say it's a first for many places. Justine Haas is the DNR Fisheries Management Program Bureau Director.
We saw ice go off at the earliest we have ever seen it on our northern Wisconsin lakes, followed by about a week later, the ice going back on to many of those lakes, and then coming off on a more normal time frame, 2 to 3 weeks ago.
It was a similar story in northern Oconto County, where thin ice made conditions deemed to be unsafe.
The winter struggled a lot. The winter was terrible. It was probably one of the worst seasons we've had since we started.
In Lakewood, Mighty Fine Sports Shop co-owner Derek Seletsky says weather impacted many businesses around the region. He says hopes are high heading into the inland lakes sport fishing opener.
We're expecting it to be a great weekend.
Seletsky says area lakes are getting warmer, but it's happening about a week behind schedule. He says fish will soon move into the shallows.
They're going to be recovering pretty quick here, but it's going to be this week too. I'm hearing water temperatures between 46 and 56 degrees. So in one day, there's quite a big span in temperature there.
We've definitely seen some erratic weather, and the fish really do react a lot to that. But now we're sort of sitting here in late April, and we're getting back into what normally spring looks like, a sort of warm, cooler temperatures, and the fish are really starting to get back on track.
Have you ever heard of earthshine? It does not happen very often, but this weekend you may get a chance to see it. Meteorologist Taylor McNose has more.
Look up at the sky this weekend and you'll get a good glimpse of the crescent moon, but also
the faint glow of the new moon. That is what we call earth shine. And what's happening here is the rays of the sun are reflecting off the surface of the earth and lighting up the surface of the moon indirectly. So the part that's not getting direct sunlight is still getting at least a faint glow, and that is where earth shine comes into play. Now, it's believed that this earth shine is about 10% brighter in the northern hemisphere during the months of April and May. And the reason for that is the northern hemisphere is now tilted toward the sun as we head later into the spring months, but also we have some lingering ice and snow cover from the previous winter in the northern hemisphere, and ice and snow is more reflective than barren land. So that combination leads to a brighter earth shine this time of the year. It's best to see that about a few days before and a few days after the new moon occurs.
And now time for a short break, but first let's check in the beautiful views of the Swiss Alps. Wow, beautiful.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. More scattered thunderstorms across the plains. This is causing some river flooding, especially along the Mississippi as it all tries to drain out of here. Dry across the Ohio Valley today, but that rain does shift into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes for Friday, tomorrow. Temperature-wise, we still stay mild across most of the region. Some 50s there in the Dakotas, and we've got more scattered thunderstorms heading into your Saturday as well, with temperatures still staying just a little above normal.
Good Thursday morning to you. Meteorologist Chris Suchan. Look at our forecast today across the region, and showers and storms will start the day in East Texas, Louisiana. The afternoon into the evening, still a risk for a strong to severe storm. Temperatures in the 70s and the 80s right through the evening, possibly into Dallas-Fort Worth with wind gusts and some hail. And then we step into Friday's forecast. Some morning showers or storms, a mix of clouds and sun, 70s and 80s for highs. And notice we still have enough on the table to get a few shower storms to wrap up the day.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, we're talking about some nice warmth in the deserts, 88 out of the southern part of Nevada in Las Vegas. We're back into the 40s, though, by contrast in Jackson Hole, and a beautiful 70 in the city by the bay. But this system continues to dive down the west coast toward the Golden Gate Bridge, bringing showers back into southern Oregon as we head later into our Thursday. And that's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
On Santa Rosa Island, Florida, some foggy moments as it rolled in and out repeatedly around midday Wednesday, as this time-lapse video shows. A different kind of dazzle Tuesday night into Wednesday as these bolts of overnight lightning from storms captured in Iowa. And this rich, colorful dawn is frozen in time in Little Rock.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
Now to El Paso, Texas, where brilliant red blooms are starting to appear. Meteorologist Brad Montgomery takes a look.
This is an ocotillo, also known as a candlewood or slimwood or desert coral. Very, very beautiful, bright red flowers. They typically bloom in the springtime, March through about June, also depending on how much water they get. You saw as you zoomed in there how red those flowers are, and I wanted to show you a close-up. and take an even closer look at these flowers. You can see the spent flowers off to the right, but just beautiful when those red flowers pop out. Also very popular with hummingbirds and can also bloom a secondary time with summer rain.
For more great weather content, be sure to check us out on social media. Just search the National Weather Desk. We're back after this. Thank you so much for looking in this morning. I'm glad you were able to join me. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. Good day.